Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Live. Now, in studio, we are joined this evening by Charles Okafor, the visionary founder of Mastery EQ. And we will be observing Mental Health Awareness Month. And Charles' expertise in the emotional intelligence is particularly very relevant. Now, he'll be sharing his insights on how cultivating self-awareness and emotional understanding can unlock our body's innate healing potential. You know, by harnessing the power of emotional intelligence, we can also reduce stress, increase joy, and also even strengthen our brain's resilience. This is going to be a very interesting conversation because we always hear about the importance of emotional intelligence. Now, to just hear from someone who's an expert in the field is something that I am looking forward to. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Charles, and welcome to Prime Live.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome.
How are you doing?
I am good. Oh my God, this is very good that you've asked. People on the other side don't usually ask. We're the ones that ask, how are you doing? So for you to say, how are you doing? I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Another thing that I want to talk about, or like what we want to speak about is, you know, how can individuals develop emotional intelligence in their daily lives to improve mental health? Because a lot of times we hear about emotional intelligence, but I don't think it's often linked to your mental health.
Okay, first of all, let's begin by defining emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to think smarter and take smart actions. Now, emotional intelligence is a version of everyone that exists, is an intelligence that we need to be consciously aware of. And this intelligence helps us regulate our thoughts, our words, and of course our physical actions. So when you become conscious of your thoughts, it helps regulate your feelings. And how can people integrate that into their daily life? Like I said earlier on, when you become aware of naming your feelings, your emotions, and that can equally help control how you feel. And when you control how you feel, you can be able to make better choices towards whatever you're facing. And that's why emotional intelligence is very important.
Most definitely. And can you share with us and, you know, the viewers at home that are watching right now some practical strategies for managing your emotions and also fostering self-healing?
Now, I want you to say this word back to me: accountability. Say it back to me.
Accountability.
Correct. That is the key foundation. Once you become aware of that negative self, sometimes we don't really see our own shortcomings. We are good at seeing other things, but when it comes to the internal version of who and what we are in this life, we don't really count that. So until we begin to look into the content of our character, to define ourselves, where am I going wrong? Where am I missing it? When you hold yourself accountable on the mental, emotional, and the physical aspect, that is when you give healing to naturally take place in your life. So accountability is one of the major things we need to do, but let's stick with accountability. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I want us to talk about the role of mindfulness in enhancing emotional intelligence and also overall well-being. And would you say that mindfulness is on the same category as accountability? Is it the same thing?
Mindfulness is awareness, yes. Because when I'm mindful of my thoughts, remember how we think and how we feel is actually responsible for creating our physical reality. So when you are mindful of your thoughts, of the kind of words you say to yourself, that can help shape your reality better. And once you begin to shape your reality according to the level of your thought and emotion, that's when healing will begin to take place naturally. So it's very important.
Now, I want us to talk about Mastery EQ, since you're the founder of that. Take us through the journey of when was it founded and what is it that, or what gap did you see in the community that made you think, you know what, maybe this is something that the community might need, let me take on it?
Yeah, Mastery EQ was founded about 2 years in existence right now. So I realized one thing, that self-mastery isn't really thought. And the awareness is not there. So I began to take it upon myself as an individual and as a mastery EQ. We took it upon ourselves to help people unbind what really hurts them so they can be able to focus on peace instead of chaos. So when you become aware that you are not just the body, you are an emotional being, and there's a version of you that exists on the mental which you cannot also see. So we help people to remember that knowing who you are is the greatest manifestation of intelligence here on earth. Because when I know myself, I can be able to handle the affairs of my life.
That's very impressive. And can you tell us about how Mastery EQ approaches helping people to understand and regulate their emotions?
First of all, there's something called self-awareness. Like I said earlier on, how well do you know yourself? Aisha, you are not here to know other people. You're not here to know anyone else but yourself. Get to know who you are on the mental, on the emotional. The same way you take care of your physical body, do you also take care of versions of yourself you cannot see? I'm talking about your emotion. I'm talking about your mental. So because this is actually what makes you a human being. So by understanding that and allowing that to help you grow in all you do is the guiding force of intelligence, which everyone needs.
Most definitely. And I want us to now discuss the common misconceptions that are around emotional intelligence and how can we better address them.
Well, first of all, most times people often misunderstand this realistic aspect of those who are highly emotionally connected to themselves, because people often think that we don't experience sad moments, we don't cry. I'm going to use myself as an example. When the chief sat down, I'm a human being, I cry. So if you need to cry, if you need to let it out, emotions are meant to be expressed, not impressed. You let it out. So most times people really don't see that aspect of us. The difference between someone that has emotional intelligence is that they are aware of their weakness. They don't allow their weakness to dictate who and what they are. They don't become it. They let it pass through just like a passing cloud. It goes, it comes in, and then it goes out. That's what makes the difference. But we have limitation. Everyone is expected to experience that, but the response is quite different. So that's most times the misconception we often have.
Most definitely. And can you advise us on, how can organizations and communities incorporate emotional intelligence so that, everybody can be well, just for the collective being of everybody else?
Can we lead with empathy? It starts from you, it starts from me talking right now. Because when I lead with empathy, let's individualize it. When I live with empathy, it affects the person next to me. And that's how we can integrate it into our organizations and into our communities by becoming that which you want to see in your daily life, by embodying that intelligence. Because when we apply that, we reduce crime, we reduce poverty. And once we begin to reduce those things, the community will get better. And once the community gets better, it affects the organization. And once the organization gets better, of course, the country and the world we live in at large.
Now, just as a measure of whether or not someone has emotional intelligence, how can you tell? Not even from observing other people, yourself. When do you know that, okay, I think I'm at a point where I'm emotionally aware or emotionally intelligent? Is this something that, or are there signs that you look out for in yourself and in other people also?
First of all, it's not something anyone can give to you. I, Charles, cannot give you emotional intelligence. I can't take it away from you. It is part of what everyone came out on earth with. As I'm speaking to you right now, those in their mother's womb incubating are coming with this intelligence. So what Mastery EQ does is to help you remember who you are. You are not just the body. you have an emotion you can see, and you have a mind you can see, because it needs body, mind, and soul. So when we raise this conscious awareness, you begin to tap into that version of you that is responsible for naturally healing itself. Because it's a scientific fact that the body naturally has what it takes to heal itself if we are mentally aware of it. So this is where mastery EQ comes in. This is where emotional intelligence comes in to help you regulate and organize your physical reality.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that everybody is born with emotional intelligence.
Percent. Our job, my job as a coach, is to help you remember. Correct.
So people that we see that are acting like out of turn, people that seem like they're not very in touch with themselves, would you say those are people that need a reminder? They have it in them, it's somehow maybe disappeared because of, I don't know, cultural beliefs or, you know, the effect of the community that can have on you. It's not necessarily to say that it's a skill that they need to learn.
Lack of self-awareness. It's all embedded in lack of self-awareness. When you don't know, of course, there are repercussions. When you know, there are repercussions. So it all depends on the approach. Are you approaching it with the mentality of not knowing, or you approaching it with the mentality of knowing? So this is where my job comes in, to create that bridge, connecting you to your true intelligence. Like I said, it's something nobody can give or take. It is inherent.
Okay. And now, as we conclude our conversation on emotional intelligence and self-healing, what is the one thing that you'd like to leave our viewers with so that they can be able to be their healthy self and be in touch, you know, with their emotional self?
Self-mastery. Don't just walk this life without getting to know yourself. You can't spend time in knowing so many celebrities, handling a lot of social media accounts. You can't spend time in knowing other things, but you don't know yourself. You don't know how to regulate your thought. You don't know how to regulate your emotion. You don't even know how to make better choices for yourself. The essence of your existence is to come to know who and what you are in this life. Once you know that, you have automatically solved 95% of your problems. And that's very important. So know yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now, as we actually, this is the last question before we let you go. How can people get in touch with you so that they can be able to begin their journey of emotional intelligence?
Well, I'm everywhere. You can find me on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on TikTok. So on Instagram, it is mastery.eq, mastery.eq on Instagram. On Facebook, it is mastery EQ. TikTok, mastery EQ, and YouTube, mastery EQ. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you as well, as we continuously share the consciousness of emotional intelligence.
Definitely. I mean, thank you so much, Mr. Charles, for joining us and just for telling us all about Mastery EQ and for just highlighting the importance of emotional intelligence and things that we were not aware of, misconceptions, and, you know, how one can become or rather start their journey towards self-awareness. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are welcome. Viewers at home, this was a wonderful conversation with Mr. Charles Okafor, and we were talking about the importance of emotional intelligence. Make sure that you do actually interact with him on social media platforms, and also make sure that you actually, you know, follow him to start your journey of emotional intelligence. But on that note, it's time for us to head over to a quick break. We'll see you right after this.